Hiring a builder can be exciting, but more than a little stressful. When building your new home, your relationship with your builder can make or break your experience. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to have the best possible experience with your builder, how to avoid common frustrations, and how to keep your project running smoothly from start to finish. So the first thing you want to do is pick the right builder. One of the biggest mistakes that people make, and it happens a lot, is people look for the cheapest builder they can find. The problem with that is that just finding the cheapest builder doesn't tell you much of anything. There are builders that specialize in certain things that you might be interested in. Are you looking for a builder who builds high performance homes that are really energy efficient and environmentally friendly? Are you looking for somebody who's super fast? Are you looking for somebody who builds in a special way, like with ICFs or SIPs? All those kind of things are going to play into the type of builder you're looking for. The other thing you want to know is how well do they communicate? Craftsmanship is a big part of our job, but the other thing that's really important is being able to talk to your builder and whether or not they will talk with you. If you have somebody that's difficult to work with in the beginning, it's most likely not going to get better as you move along. And in your build, you're going to have some highs and some lows, and having the right builder who can talk you through it is going to be a big deal. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are clear about your vision for your build up front. Make sure that your builder knows what you want, because even the great builders are not mind readers. So the more things you can tell your builder up front, the better you're going to be. If you have a vision board of the things that you would like, some of my favorite clients were the ones that had a little binder where they took out pictures of bathrooms that they preferred or kitchen features that they really liked. Anything that you can do to give your builder the best picture of what you want, the better it's going to be. You also need to be honest about your budget, because a lot of times people want Cadillac quality for Hyundai prices, and the truth is you're not going to get it. When you build a home, you're putting a big investment into your future, and you want to make sure that if you have a vision for what that's going to look like, that everybody is on the same page. If you do that, you'll avoid a lot of heartache down the road. The more clear you are, and the more you can figure out up front. One of the worst things you can do is be in the middle of your build and then say, you know what, I think we actually want to do this over here instead. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's going to add to the time that it takes for your build to get done. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do is pick as much stuff as you can up front. You will end up saving yourself a lot of time and headache, and your builder, and it'll make your project go by a lot more smoothly if you already know what you're looking for. For example, this build behind me is one of my favorite projects that I've ever done. These clients knew exactly what they wanted from the beginning. We had a few little things that we worked with, but that's why we have an amazing interior designer who handles all of that. But all the little changes that they've done have been really small. Overall, they've wanted to pay as quickly as they could, on time, and in fact early in a lot of ways. Because this client knew exactly what it was that they wanted in the beginning, they were able to purchase a lot of the materials up front. We've had almost no change orders on this job, and this job has gone really smoothly because of it. So if you want to have a job that goes really well, that's one of the best things you can do, is just make sure that when it comes time to pay that bill, you pay it. If you can make decisions ahead of time, you will save yourself money and time to do that. The next thing that will help your build go smoothly is to get stuff in writing. The more that you have written down, the more that your builder knows what to go off of. Memories run short when you're in the middle of a project. So everything that you can get, you need to start with a contract. Your builder needs to start with a detailed estimate or quote for what he's going to do. There needs to be a scope of work involved so that you know what your builder is going to cover and what he's not. So that you don't walk into your new home expecting it to be fully landscaped and your builder has no idea that that's what you wanted. That'll help you avoid some things like that. One of the other things that's really important to do is make sure that you know that your builder has a change order process. And change orders means anything that you're going to change in the course of that build. There's always something that's going to come up. Maybe you want a different style of window. Maybe you want to do a different type of flooring once you're in the house and it's already starting to come together. These things are okay, but there needs to be a process in place. Just a handshake agreement between you and your builder is going to eventually end up with somebody extremely frustrated. So the best way that you can avoid that is to have a builder who has a change order process. For example, at Rabtech Builds, we have a change order process that goes a little something like this. When we give you a proposal, it includes a little paragraph that says that any change that you initiate after the contract is signed is going to involve a $250 change order fee plus the cost of the change. We do that in part because we don't want you to make any more changes than you absolutely have to make. And if there's no fee involved, you're going to end up making a lot of changes. The other thing that it does that really helps you to see, okay, do I really want to make this change or not? And then we have a written change order. It's almost like its own separate little contract inside the contract that says, I, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, want this new change to happen, and I'm willing to pay the price difference of X amount of money to do that. And then you sign it, and your builder signs it. In our case, we won't charge a change order fee if it's something that we have to initiate the change for. Like, say, the tile that you wanted for your bathroom is no longer available. That's not your fault, it's not our fault. We're not going to charge you a change order fee for that, but we still need to have a written change order in place. Everything that we can do to keep it in writing so that everybody knows what's happening during the course of your build. We want to make sure that it's in writing for your benefit and for ours. That way it keeps everybody safe. All right, this is another big one. It's regular communication. When it comes to your build, you're going to have a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up. I heard somebody explain something about business that actually works the same way for building. Whenever you start a project, you start on what is called uninformed optimism. That's the point where you're really excited about your build, you've got your vision, you know what you want. And you get into your build and immediately you start to go into what's known as informed pessimism. There comes a point when you start realizing, wow, this is a big project. And fairly soon, if you're not communicating, you'll end up in what's known as the valley of despair. At this point, you can get really concerned that there's never going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And then eventually, as the project starts going a little bit more, you start seeing some finishes happen, you start to end up in informed optimism until you reach the very end when you're in bliss and you got your home back. Now, the problem with this entire cycle is that you can really extend the valley of despair if you're not careful. And that usually comes when you or your builder is not communicating with each other. As a builder, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and quite honestly, as tradesmen, we often forget that we need to tell other people what's happening. So if you are ever having any doubts, if you have any concerns, that's a great time to talk to your builder. Find out in the very beginning, when you're still in that uninformed optimism stage, find out how they like to communicate, what's best. If it's text, if it's going to be a phone call, if it's going to be an email, whatever it is, and I would recommend doing 2 of those 3, at least one phone call and then another sort of written communication. So that way, in writing, you've got it so that everybody knows what's happening, but over the phone, you can reach them right away. Once you do that, then anytime you start to feel like you're dipping into that valley of despair and you haven't heard from your contractor, just give him a call. And hopefully he'll do the same for you. Good contractors know about when people start to get concerned and they'll reach out with a text or a phone call or something. Any type of update schedule that you can work out up front is a really good way to do it. But the more that you communicate, the better it's going to be. You'll end up with a lower and hopefully no valley of despair. There'll be times when it does feel a little bit low, and that's totally okay. It's normal to have rough patches in a build. What's not okay is if nobody talks to each other. That's when people get in trouble. That's when people get frustrated with their builders, and that's when builders get frustrated with homeowners. Anything that you can do to talk about things, to get in touch with each other, the better your build is going to go. Along the lines of communication, and just like that cycle we just talked about, there are going to be problems that come up. No build is entirely perfect. There's going to be weather delays, there might be material delays, there might be sickness within the crew, there are any number of problems that can happen. You might have something come up in your own family that could cause delays for your build. Those are okay. It's going to happen. The difference is how it's handled. So as long as we're communicating with each other, the better that's going to be. One of the hallmarks of a good builder is not that they're avoiding problems, but how they handle the problems that come up and how they talk with you when they're handling those problems. Overall, the important thing to remember here is to treat your build like you are a member of the team, because you are the most important member of your builder's team. Without you, this build doesn't happen. So as you're going along with your project, make sure that you're communicating with your builder. Talk with them, be part of this process. The more that you two talk with each other, the better things will go. And remember to make sure that you don't micromanage. Once you've made it clear with your builder what you want, let them do their thing. They're the pros, let them handle it. You're just telling them what you want. Let them create your dream for you. And just remember that as you're going through this process, there are a lot of things that can come up. Just talk. So remember that as long as you take this project seriously and you approach it respectfully, realistically, and you communicate in the process, the better your result is going to be. So if you have a project that you're hoping to do, or if you're in the middle of one, feel free to reach out to us in the comments below and tell us what's going on. We're happy to help.